What's My Line? Brought to you by Allstate, whose policies now include protection for your home, your family, as well as your car. You're in good hands with Allstate. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, the charming moderator of the highly successful Goodson Todman program, Password, which will remain, of course, on in the daytime at the same hour, but beginning next month, will be in the Sunday lineup at nighttime. Mr. Alan Ludden.
And now tonight, sitting in for Dorothy Kilgallen is a lovely lady you hear every afternoon on CBS Radio on the Woman's World Series, Miss Betty Furness.
And next, the president of Random House, a dear old friend of yours, and I'm happy to say a dear old friend of mine, Bennett Cerf.
And here is that paragon of tautological panel moderators, John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Alan Ludden, it's nice to see you with us on the panel.
Thank you,
Hope
John.
you enjoy the next half hour. I'm sure you're going to find it interesting, because we've got some very intriguing occupations tonight. We will also have a famous mystery guest before my colleagues on the panel a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first challenger after...
All right.
Well, we're ready for our first challenger, Betty Furness. It's nice to see you here while Dorothy is away, and I must say you improve the appearance of both of the gentlemen sitting on either side of you.
We think so,
Bennett.
too. We think so, too.
And now let's meet our first challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Dorinda Nicholson.
Right?
Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs.
And Mrs. Nicholson, where are you from?
Independence, Missouri.
Independence, Missouri. A lot of famous people from Independence. Yeah. Nice to have another famous person from Independence. May I present our panel, Mrs. Nicholson?
Hello.
And now would you join me over here, please? Do you know how we keep score on What's My Line?
Yes, I do.
All right, in that event, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Nicholson is self-employed and deals in a service. And we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Mrs. Nicholson, I think of Independence as the birthplace of two famous people, Ginger Rogers and Harry S. Truman. May I assume that you have nothing to do with either of these famous Independent citizens?
That's right.
Does the service that you perform apply to human beings?
Yes.
Might it be enjoyed by all four members of this panel?
Yes.
In other words, the service that you perform might apply equally to males and females,
It
correct?
could.
It could.
Mm-hmm.
Does it, do you come into physical contact with the people for whom you perform these services?
At times.
Are they standing up when you perform the service for them?
Yes.
Are they fully clothed?
Yes.
I didn't mean that in a mean way. I just thought you might do. When you touch them, would it be above the waist?
Yes.
Would it be above the neck?
No.
Let me ask a small question, if I may. Bennett, we want to be completely fair.
No, John.
This element of contact is a necessary part of the giving of the service, and it is possible that some contact above the neck would be indicated under some certain circumstances.
I see. In other words, the contact is not really an essential part of the service. Is that right? Do you exhibit or sell something to the people for whom you...
No.
That makes it 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is there anything at all instructive about your work?
Yes.
Between the neck and the waist, I thought probably she'd tickle people in the ribs, but that way. Is there any action on the part of the person that you are helping to instruct? Is there any movement?
Yes.
Is it a movement other than dancing?
No.
Oh, well, that
down.
would be one way to answer that question.
2 down to
Well, that
go.
sets it up pretty well. It is a movement then involved with dancing. You are some sort of a dancing instructor between the waist and the neck.
Well, no, I would say here that you must remember the terms of reference. The specific question as to the waist and the neck and the areas intervening.
I see. She
had to
comes
do
in
with
contact. I would
yes.
think so. Then it must be, since you come in contact between the waist and neck, a form of ballroom dancing. Is that it?
That's a very good question, and you get a no to that. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Burnett.
Do you teach one specific kind of dancing?
Yes.
Is it a dance that is done in nightclubs?
Sometimes.
Is it a very popular dance at the moment?
You mean now more than at another time?
Yes.
No.
No, I wouldn't think so. 4 down and 6 to go,
Thinking of
Mr.
the
Cerf.
twist.
That's what I was thinking of, Bennett.
Mrs. Nicholson, is your dancing that you teach of a more classical nature in the line of possible... Well, the laugh I'm going to say, I'm going to change my question. It has nothing to do with ballet dancing. Is that correct?
Right.
Nothing to do with ballet.
Do the people who do the dance wear any kind of, usually when they're doing the dance, wear something other than the ordinary costume?
Yes.
Would it be less than people would wear when they were walking down Fifth Avenue, let's say on Easter Parade?
Yes.
Can I rule out stripping? You have nothing, and darling
Good
girl like
heavens,
you has
yes,
nothing to do with
certainly
stripping.
can. I
What?
should say you can. Yes, sir.
Is there any kind of physical dexterity necessary in this dancing other than just the normal amount?
Yes.
It's some kind of acrobatic dancing then?
No.
No, that's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Because acrobatic dancing would include, of course, such dances as the adagio dances. That is considered acrobatic, is it not? All right. Do these people dance on something other than the floor?
No.
That would be a neat trick, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was.
If you
It's
could-
funny what you had in mind. I've
No.
seen those that tried doing it on the air, but it's a little hard. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Ludden.
Do your people that you teach get off the floor as part of the routine? I mean, is the not the classical ballet, but I mean, is there an acrobatic element to
No.
this?
No.
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Miss Furness.
Was your dance perhaps originated in another country?
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Is your dancing ever done at athletic contests?
Wait a minute, Bennett. Wait a minute.
Another country?
Gotta have a small concert.
Can you talk?
May I ask if you ask this question in terms of the geographical delineations of nations and people as we understand them today?
Me, honey?
Yeah.
Yes, I think I did, John.
Well, that's fine. Now, the no answer stands. It's 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Would your dance, the kind of dance you teach, ever be used as a special number, possibly in a show?
It could.
Is cakewalking any part of it?
No. 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
Would it be anything like the Highland Fling of the Sailor's Hornpipe, one of those odd numbers?
No. 10
Probably
down
just
and no more to
plain
go.
foxtrot. That's what it's going to turn out to be.
Just for fun, Betty, I think you
Can I
get.
take a chance? I
Yes.
think she teaches Indian dancing.
No.
No?
No. Actually, it's hula dancing.
Oh.
And you see, Betty, that's why your question threw me. It originated, I would assume, although I'm not enough of a historian on the Pacific to say, it originated in the old kingdom of Hawaii, but it is now, of course, one of our great states.
In Polynesia.
I think it did. It came up from the Polynesian islands into Hawaii, I believe. I don't know. I can't take it back that far, you know.
Will you do a couple of the things with the hands that mean things? Show us a couple of the things.
Yes. Flowers, rain, palm trees.
That's nice. I like that, don't you, John?
Mm-hmm.
I like it better.
Well, I must say, Mrs. Nicholson has every right to be an expert because you were born in Hawaii.
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Hawaii and was a beauty queen in Hawaii. And is lucky because that's a lovely country to come from.
Thank you.
And we're lucky to have it as one of our states, and thank you. We're lucky to have had you as our guest.
Thank you.
too.
I enjoy it.
Nice to have you with us. And now let's meet a second challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Ronald Nielsen. Mr. Nielsen, where are you from?
Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia, Missouri. Well, we have a lot of folks from Missouri tonight. Nice to have you with us. May I present our panel? Would you join me over here, sir? Do you know how we keep score? Good. Then we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mr. Nielsen is salaried, deals in a service, and let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mr. Nielsen, the service that you do you look unlike what one would expect a man to look like that does what you do? Do you look younger?
Yes.
Is there anything instructive about your work?
May we have a small
Yes.
conference?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, then he certainly isn't a professor at a university because there would be no doubt but what that would be instructive. Do you have a title of some kind?
Yes.
Are you, therefore, a college graduate?
No.
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Ludden.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
No.
2 down and 8
I
to go,
wondered
Miss
that,
Furness.
In your service, do you deal directly with people?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I would say that basically the service is a benefit to people as a group rather than to any other element. That's the term of your question.
Do you work in an office?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Nielsen, you say you have a title. Would the title be doctor?
No.
No, now actually, and let me explain here that he has a title which is properly used and which would be highly revealing as to the character of his particular line, but this is not meant to convey to
By
you.
a title, we didn't mean just something that he can tack after his name. It'd be something we meant that he would be called in public. When we ask of
Yes.
your title, we say,
That's
well,
right,
Dr.
yeah.
Nielsen, or...
Or you would say he is a lieutenant, he is a general,
yes,
he is a,
yes.
doctor, you know. Yeah. Miss Francis?
Well, since you've just said that, it's ruled out what I was thinking. I wondered whether you had anything to do with any branch of the armed services.
No.
So that's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Ludden.
Arlene asked if you looked a little differently than we would expect one who performs your service to look. And she said younger. Is it conceivable that you, as a rule, those who have your title, whatever it may be, are larger?
No, I didn't mean that. I just meant younger.
No, I want to know if he's a little small for this job, as it would seem.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, people who do what you do are usually larger.
That's right.
Then it takes a certain amount of physical dexterity, this service you perform.
No.
No. That's very good, Alan. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Burnett.
Do you work for the government?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
You do not work for a profit-making organization, but you do not work for any government. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Is your work in any way connected with a religious body?
No.
Not specifically, no. 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
When you are performing your service, do you address several people ever at once?
Oh, I would imagine we could agree that there are occasions when you address several people together at once. Couldn't we agree to that?
Yes.
Would you
Might come in and say good morning to everybody in the room.
Do you have anything whatsoever to do with parks or zoos or aquariums?
No.
9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Ludden.
Well, you're instructive. You don't work for the government. Are you associated with any kind of educational institution?
Yes.
But your work does not involve physical dexterity, so you're not a jiu-jitsu instructor or anything like that. That's not a no, is it? No. Did your training for this job was not academic, but did you spend more than a year in your training to accomplish this job? Did you spend more than 2 years?
Yes.
You do not have I am safe in assuming, though, you do not have a college degree.
No.
Is your title more than one word?
No.
It's a one-word
He's
title.
the president.
Bye, you just said is your title more than one word.
Oh,
The
I
answer
word
was
it
no.
wrong.
You worded it wrong, and it's turned down to no more to
Can
go.
I take one stab at this? You
Yes,
anything to
ma'am.
do with the weather?
No.
And he hasn't got anything to do with the Nielsen report, says he.
How about
Kind of a
head
title with
chef at Christian College in Columbia,
Oh,
Missouri?
how about got it all right.
Actually, Mr. Nielsen has grave responsibility. There are 350 young ladies who are his customers, so to
I hope he
speak.
keeps them all as slim as he is.
I was just wondering if he had any problems about figuring how much he should cook at any one given time, with the fads changing as they do so often. You find that the young ladies have good, healthy appetites?
That's right.
That's good, I'm glad. Later on, I suppose they lose them. Well, thank you very much, sir. It was nice to have you with us in What's My Life. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from... Now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as is well known, the panel is always blindfolded. Are those blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes,
Yes, sir. They are.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? All right. As you know, panel, a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and let's begin with Betty Furness.
Are you in the entertainment business?
Yes. Mr. Cerf?
Do you sing as part of your regular act?
Yes. Miss Francis?
Would you also be considered a leading man?
One down and one to go, Mr. Ludden.
Well, I don't know. Could you be considered a leading lady?
Yes. Betty?
Do you work mostly in television?
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Do you ever appear in nightclubs?
Yes. Miss Francis?
Well, there's only one woman in all of show business that can do that with her voice, and I think it's Carol Channing.
You're right. That was great fun.
I thought I was way out of my range.
If you'd never done the high one, oh no, it sounded like you in the low register too, I must say. You look ravishing.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
you
you,
do.
Arlene. What a nice feeling you give me.
You always had a nice feeling.
And you must be having so much fun with George Burns.
I am. We've just finished in Las Vegas and in Lake Tahoe. And now we're on our way to DuQuoin, Illinois for the Illinois State Fair.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, we're a
Miss
team.
Channing, Miss Channing, I'm in the naive sort. Could I ask you a question? It's a little bit personal. Is that your real hair or is that a wig?
It's a wig.
I thought so.
How wonderful. You really wondered.
I really wondered.
Oh,
yes.
good. Most people know right off it's a wig.
I never...
There was a doubt.
Can I suggest something to you?
Yes.
Well, I don't know whether I ought to suggest it, really. I was just wondering, why don't you ask Bennett the same question?
If I bought a wig, there'd be more hair on it than that.
Poor Bennett. I'm going to give you a diamond instead of a wig on account of diamonds are a girl's best friend. Could I give one to you, John?
A diamond?
Yes.
Why, ma'am, I don't know what I've done to deserve it, but if you really feel you should, I wouldn't want to stand in the way of such a generous impulse.
All right. I know you're not the type to wear it, so you can give it to your best girl or to your wife, and you'd be surprised how nice she'll be to you. She'll just love you to pieces, John.
Well, I thank you very much.
Yes.
Very nice.
And do you suppose I can give one to the two girls, to my old friend Betty Furness?
Bet you could.
There. And one for Arlene.
Thank you.
Oh,
that's fine.
Did you ever play baseball?
Right.
That's a remarkably good arm, I must say.
Oh, do you think so? I haven't even got my glasses on. That's good. I'm so sorry we guessed it right away. What'll we talk about?
Well, we don't have to. I was going to suggest, since I would like you to give them the pleasure of a personal good night, that you can deliver all the rest of those when you go over
If you
there.
could get it off, John.
If I can get
I
it
was
off,
wondering
there
if
we
Bennett and
are.
I were going to be out of luck.
Yeah, I did too. I wonder.
Oh, no,
Maybe
Bennett.
George would give us ours.
No, Alan, I know Alan very well, way back. Alan Ludden and I were in the Army together.
Not exactly. It's her husband.
And we'll be back after this word from our game show. Once again, Lady Furness and Alan Ludden, it's been fun having you with us, and we hope you enjoyed your visit, too.
We did, but I want you to know this bracelet has a bad catch on it.
Oh, my. And good night, Arlene Francis.
Good night, and good night, Alan. Congratulations on your new acting career.
Honey, it was a lot of fun, but we haven't been breaking records like you have in
There you
overquaking.
go.
It's all over the country. Good night, Miss Arlene.
Good night, dear boy.
Betty, it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Alan. Always a pleasure to be with you. Good night. Bennett, dear, good night to you. Good night to Philip.
Nice, sweet. Thank you, my dear. John, you see that you give this to Virginia, you hear?
Yes, sir. And you see that you give it to Phyllis. You hear?
Said I will.
Good night, Bennett, and thank you, ladies, for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. This is Johnny Olson speaking. The preceding program was pre-recorded.